Alrighty. Howdy neighbors and welcome back to Dark Nights. Last time we started to go down memory lane for Junoru. Anyway, let's continue. I sighed as my head dropped. Suddenly, I wanted to escape from my worries, so I snuck outside to find my new playmates, Jace and Blaze. That night, I could not fall asleep. I just lost my first and only friends. They told me that our statuses were too different. Who cares about status as long as you get along with one another? Or did they start to hate my family too? I do not understand. Blaze, did you not say that status did not matter? I wish I could speak to Jace. He could not have agreed with this. I rubbed my face and stopped sulking. Things had simply returned to the status quo. My family's overprotectiveness had always kept me isolated. The noises of the shattering sounded in the hallway. I jumped out of bed, trying to figure out what was going on, when my mother rushed into my room with her face half covered by a scarf. She quickly shut the door and dashed over to me, bracing me with a sigh of relief. Mommy, what's going on? I'm so glad you're okay, June. Where are Daddy and Roya? Roya is safe and your father will follow us later. She pulled a familiar-looking bottle out of her pocket and opened it. Junoru, if something bad happens, don't look for your father or me, okay? I was confused, but nodded nonetheless. Mother forced the bottle into my hands and wrapped my fingers around it. Please keep this safe. Don't let anyone else have it. June, I love you. She hugged me one last time, her cheeks damp from tears, before helping me hide under the bed. No matter what you see or hear, don't come out and don't make a sound. I like her watch. Oh, fuck! Oh, I hate every bit of that! Barely a moment later, the door slammed open. I caught a glance of one boy with bandages covering his mouth and a number of adults with their faces covered. I don't have it. Cursing is a waste of time. On the contrary, taking your life is of equal value to us. I'm not afraid of him. One person charged at her. She grabbed the opponent's arm, and as they were confused, she threw them against the wall. Then they were surprised but did not lose their focus. The leader of the men motioned toward Mother. In a few short moments, they had her restrained against the ground. She continued struggling, but there was no way out of the grasp with three armed men. It's Jace! Jace, who had been lurking behind the adults, suddenly removed the bandages from his right arm and charged toward my mother. With her guard down, the masked people pinned her to the ground, creating a barricade I could not even see light through. Stabbing once more. What are you forcing a child to do? I'm sorry, this will be over quick. Bethan, Junoru, Roya, I love you. The room was silent for a good minute until the adults stood up. Although they probably left the room, Jay stayed behind. I could barely prevent myself from gasping when I saw the pool of blood my mother was laying within. Suddenly, Jace glanced in my direction and walked closer to the bed. Hey, I know you're here. He let out a scream and crawled up from under the bed, running toward Mother's body and trying to wake her up. I took my mother's cold hand in mine, caused my vision to blur with tears rolled up in my eyes. She's no longer with us, there's no point in doing that. I made sure she peacefully passed on to heaven. You know, I'm not doing this because I want to. Hey, I need that bottle you're holding. Give it here. When Jace reached out toward me, I crawled backward. What do you need it for? Are you going to give it to those people? Well, I uncorked the bottle, pressed the rim against my lips, tilting it upward. The sweet liquid began filling my mouth. You idiot! Do you know what you're doing? I promised Mommy that I would not let the people get it. As I ran into the hallway, I saw something strange. After a few breaths, I became dizzy. I swiftly realized some sort of gas had been released to the house. I covered my mouth and nose with my sleeves before continuing through the seemingly empty second floor. Where is everyone? There should be guards patrolling at night too. Daddy, where are you? I grew more desperate with each step, feeling a sickening relief when I finally heard the scream from one of the nearby rooms. That voice, could it be Daddy? Using the door as a cover, I peek inside the messy room. A number of masked people and Blaze. As one of them, it was my father, who was pinned to the ground. He appeared worn down, and there was no way he could escape. Use your power, finish him off. Take this man to hell already. Lord knows he deserves it. You don't want me to get rough with you, do you? My brother should be here soon. He can. Hurry up. Blaze flinched, but then slowly walked toward father. I never thought you would bring children into this. I cannot believe someone like you was ever on our team. I know what you were planning to do with that serum. You can't convince me to back down. I told you it was a misunderstanding. I was so close to creating a cure. You only want to mass-produce the immortality serum and sell it for a profit. How else could you maintain this glamorous lifestyle? I watched while Blaze stabbed my father. He only laid there, unmoving, without making a single sound. Before I could react, the adults turned toward me and glanced in my direction. I immediately ran away in a panic. Why is this happening? This can't be real. This must be a nightmare. My footsteps echoed through the silent hallways. I did not know where I was going or what to do next. All of a sudden, I was knocked to the ground. When my knees hit the ground, I felt a sharp pain in my back. It hurts, I can't get up. My limbs gave up and I collapsed to the floor. I didn't have the strength to crawl, and my eyelids became too heavy to lift. When the feeling in my limbs returned, I slowly opened my eyes. I did not know how much time had passed. You're still alive. I was sure that... Never mind. To my head, I noticed a mysterious girl sitting beside me. She wore a long scarf which covered her neck and part of her face. A few strands of pink hair sticking out over the fabric. Even though I had never seen her before, familiar awe surrounded her. I opened my mouth to speak, but my throat was so dry that no sound came out. This is strange. How do you feel? I looked around and realized that I was laying in a bed. I did not know where I was. Through the foggy pain in my head, I managed to recall a few key memories. Some kind of gas and my parents, I still do not know where Roya is. My eyes instantly became wet. Soon tears began streaming down my cheeks. Although I tried to bravely wipe them away, they continued flowing. The girl bent down and patted me on the head. Don't cry, okay? Everything will be alright. She handed me a bottle of water and gave me a moment to recover. May I know where I am? You're at my place. Feel free to stay for as long as you want. Miss, do you know where my brother is? I don't. I'm sorry. Why did only I get away safely? I did search for your brother as well, but I could not find him. There's a chance he's still alive. I was disappointed, but also relieved that Roya might still have gotten away somehow. You are Junoru and Roya, right? Yes, how did you know? I heard a lot about you from your mother. I didn't expect you to look so much like your father. I pressed my lips together in remembrance of my parents. He gently patted me on the head before speaking in a calmer tone. Well, Junoru, I need to give you a checkup. Your body was in a strange state a minute ago. There's no need. I do feel a little lightheaded, but that is all. She sighed and crossed her arms. It takes a minute before I finally give in. After I give her my arm, she checked my pulse. I knew something was odd. What? Shh, be quiet. I sat frozen to the spot, utterly confused about the situation. Just as I thought. No pulse. She pulled back with a strange expression before turning to me. Did your parents give you something strange to drink or eat? Mommy gave me a bottle of something strange and I drank it. girl rubbed her face and sighed loudly. This is bad. The serum she gave you grants immortality. Or longevity, I guess, but... When I found you, I thought you were dead. Tell me my theory, but right now, I believe you're frozen in a state between life and death. Does that mean I can't die? It's difficult to explain to a child. Tell me, please. Well, I've been working with your parents at the beginning. But even I don't really understand how the serum works. As far as I know, you can only die from either being beheaded or having your entire body burned. Once you reach adulthood, your body will most likely stop aging. Like, you'll grow to a point where your DNA would normally begin to break down, and then stop. A man with an incurable illness volunteered for the trial to do the serum, but he was murdered before we could finish the research, unfortunately. If I had to compare it to anything, it would be a zombie-like state, but without any decomposition. You see, we actually developed the serum directly from a zombie sample. The chemical composition that spreads into their blood can kill any living creature it comes into contact with, and we want to reverse it. Turn it into something that can cure any illness. Have I turned into a monster? No, sweetheart. Don't worry, I'll find a way to help you undo this. The girl smiled as she looked at my arm, but I felt uncomfortable. It was difficult to wrap my head around so much information. I've worked to develop this serum with your parents for the past few years. I just don't understand how things went so wrong. Your parents are good people. They started their research to find a new way to cure sickness and make people healthier. When the word that they'd accidentally created an immortality potion leaked, even other members of the research team became greedy and wanted to steal it. That explains why our home was attacked, but not how Blaze and Jace got involved in this. By the way, I'm Yokishi, but you can call me Yoki. I'll keep you safe from now on. Ooh. Okay. Yoshiki pulled her hoodie back to reveal her long pink hair. She was so beautiful that it almost looked like a wig. Her gray eyes peered into mine as she smiled. I froze when I suddenly recalled where I'd seen her before. She was one of the friends my mother occasionally shared a cup of tea with. Pretty sure Mommy said Yoki was someone we could trust. Eventually, when they realize your corpse is missing, people will start hunting you down. You can stay here for as long as you need. In the meantime, I'll try to locate your brother. Thank you, Yoki. Not even a miss? Wow. In the following days, I was not allowed to take a single step outside. Yokishi's home was not as fanciful as I was used to, but at least it was the roof over my head. Junoru, I have some food for you. She walked into the room carrying a grocery bag of snacks and other delicious-looking foods. Whoa, I've always wanted to try these, but Mommy and Daddy always said no. I'm sorry, you probably aren't used to such a simple lifestyle. I'm trying my best to make you comfortable. I grabbed the prepackaged melon bread from the top of the bag and eagerly dug in. After a few bites, however, I felt strange. What's wrong? Does it not suit your tastes? No, it's really delicious. I bite into it again, trying to force it down my throat. Suddenly I had the urge to throw up. It tastes good, but why do I need to? You should go through all the trouble to get this for me. I should pretend that I'm fine. Here, have some water. I took the bottle and drank its contents within seconds. I felt a lot better, although I was still hungry. What's your favorite dish? I might be able to buy it for you. I don't really have one. Anything is fine. I tried the other foods Yoshiki had brought, but I could not get any of them down my throat. It was as if my body was rejecting them. I was overcome with hopelessness when I bit down on the delicious meat bun, and it would not go down properly. I could not pretend to be fine any longer. I guess your body is presently undergoing a transformation from human to living dead. You must need to eat something else. Sorry I didn't notice it before. What should I eat instead, then? I'm not sure. Living dead usually eat human meat and blood, so maybe you should try those. Ew, no way. I was disgusted by the very idea. Vehemently? Shaking my head. I will live on water alone. Hehe, if you say so. Just tell me if you ever change your mind. Why are you helping me so much anyway? Because I feel responsible for the deaths of your parents. I should have known better, but I did not think the villagers are serious, and I have too late to save them. As I see it, helping you is my way of atoning for my mistakes. If that's the case, I really should have told Mommy and Daddy when I found those threatening notes. It was all my fault. No, they'd received many of those before. It wouldn't have made a difference. Maybe I should have died back there then. Junoru, don't say things like that. Your life is a gift. Don't throw it away when your parents would want you to live on happily. And I'll make sure that happens. Yokishi took my hands in hers and stared firmly into my eyes. Somehow my doubts were instantly washed away. I spent my time in an empty room for the next week. Yoshiki had a job to go to, so she could not watch over me the whole time. I'd been away from home for a while, and I was curious about what happened after I left. I missed Roya a lot, and could not help but wonder if he was safe. I fell asleep imagining the possibilities. When I opened my eyes once more, the room was dark, save for the moonlight that shone through the window onto the bed. Yoshiki was not back yet, but I was really thirsty. Instead of waiting for her, I decided to get a cup myself. Fumbling through the darkness was not the best idea, but I could not find the light switch. It's annoying. Turning into a zombie gave me superpowers like night vision. Maybe this would not be so bad. Suddenly I tripped over something and fell flat on my face. Although it did not hurt, it was still unpleasant. Ow, I wish I had a candle. Junoru. Yoki, is that you? Junoru. Quickly raised to my fist to defend myself when I heard someone calling my name. Who are you? I finally found you. Huh. A half-rotten face appeared in front of me. I fell to the ground in shock and tried to crawl away from the figure. Wait. Go away. When I turned back, I realized the person was coming toward me. I was so scared that tears began to well in my eyes. Help me, Yoki. I felt so weak after losing my family and everything I know, but I ran around blindly until I came to a dead end. You can't escape now. A scary-looking person walked closer. When she stepped into the moonlight, I noticed her dirty, damaged clothes and hair so messy that it resembled a bird's nest, few loose strands shielding her face. The things Yokishi said before flashed through my mind. I realized this person must be a zombie. How did you find me? What do you want? Junoru, you must help me. The woman crept toward with marionette-like movements. I had to avert my eyes. Come any closer, I cannot help you. I need the potion, and you must have it. I do not understand what you mean. Leave me alone. Help me, I want to live again. Yes, I can smell it on you. I did not realize she was so close. She grabbed my arm and sunk her teeth into my flesh. Zombie smirked down at me with her lipless mouth. Despite my fear, I raised a fist and knocked her away from me. Her head rocked back and forth as if attached to an invisible wire. I blinked in surprise. Was this woman weak or was I just strong? I was attacked again, but I dodged sloppy movements and kicked at the zombie's legs, causing her to fall. I need to eat more. My fear faded away as adrenaline began flowing through me. I need to live again. If you keep bothering me, I will ensure that you never live again. Oh. I should look elsewhere then. There is another. With that, the woman stood up and walked away. I remained on guard until the sound of the footsteps disappeared. And then against the wall as I stared at the deep red mark in my arm. It did not hurt, but it was itchy. Eating me will bring zombies back to life, huh? Is it true that I drink the potion? Oh, it is true that I drink the potion, but that does not sound possible. There you are, Junoru. Yokishi ran toward me with a worried expression. Why are you in your room? I thought something happened to you. So the door was left wide open. I'm fine. You were late, so I was tired of waiting for you. I needed something to drink. I pouted as I hid my wounded arm behind my back. Yokishi glanced around suspiciously. I wondered that she had seen through me, but she never asked a question. I was sure she had noticed something strange, but did not get into the topic to prevent worrying me. I'm so sorry. Someone made a mistake at work, and it took me hours to make up for it. I promised I didn't forget about you. She took out a water bottle and a small paper bag, handing them to me. I carelessly picked up the bag, backed away from its contents. What is this? I smuggled the blood donation out of the hospital, in case you got hungry. I do not need it. You don't need to hold back. Whatever you do or become, I will always support you. No, I don't need your pity. You're only doing this out of guilt in the first place. I pressed my lips together while my fists anxiously shook. I instantly regretted my words, but instead of apologizing, I ran away. Wait, June. I locked myself in my room and suppressed my tears. It seems like I had become such a crybaby lately. I appreciate Yoki's kindness, but I don't want to accept this. As time passed, I became tired. Knowing my hunger, I fell into a dreamless slumber. In the morning, I found myself sleeping on the floor, but I could not bring myself to care. Yokishi was working at the hospital again, so I thought she would not notice if I snuck out for a few hours to enjoy the weekend. I slowly opened the door and peeked into the hallway, only to notice there was a small note left for me. Dear Junoru, there's some food for you in a white bag. I apologize for upsetting you. Please do not be mad at me. Yokishi. There was a pang of guilt in my chest, but I still wanted to go out. So I disguised myself. I switched to the closet and found a black jacket. It was too big for me, so the only other option was a shirt. I was not in the mood to cross-dress. I stepped out onto the sidewalk trying to figure out which direction my home was in. But I soon noticed the flyers posted everywhere. The sons of the Kenrichi family are missing. If you know what they are, send a letter too. The reward for bringing them in is 10 million. I speechlessly stared at the paper, at the bottom of which Roya and my pictures were included. Parents are already dead. What do they stand to gain from taking our lives as well? Feeling on edge, I walked further on. Before long, I looked into the mansion. The exterior was the same as always. The only difference is that it was now abandoned. I entered the unlocked front door, listened to my footsteps echoing through the main room. Most of the furniture was gone. It had probably been stolen after the attack. I went upstairs, hoping to find my parents' bodies. Unfortunately, the rooms were now empty. Even the bloodstains had been cleaned, not a shred of evidence left behind. A few beds and coats were left behind, but my personal belongings had been stolen. I closed my eyes and tried to hold my sad thoughts back. Those people took away my parents and my peaceful life. The memory of Blaze and Jace on that fateful day flashed in my mind. I still could not believe what they had done to me. Eventually, it led to another memory. I recalled the bottle Roya showed me in the storage room weeks earlier. I searched for it, hoping it was still there. There were piles of books and damaged furniture everywhere. The place had practically been turned upside down. The glass cabinet, of course, was broken, and there was nothing inside of it. However, a small wooden box that was half burned under a pile of books caught my eye. I carefully retrieved it before checking it from each angle. I ran a finger over the strange imprint on the back of the box, removing the dust. And suddenly the lid popped open. Oh, this is the potion. When I examined my discovery, footsteps began to echo through the hallway. I swiftly placed the box down back in its place and hid myself behind the curtains. Where's that potion? I know there were extra doses made. Tell me. I quietly peeked out of the small hole in the fabric. to see an unfamiliar man pulling a young boy into the room with him. Oh my, that's Roya. Spit it out, boy. You must know where it is. I don't know anything. Don't play dumb. Your parents wouldn't have hidden it from you. I told you that I don't know. Even if I knew, I would never tell you anyway. The man forcefully slammed a knee into Roya's stomach, throwing him against the wall like a rag doll. Tell me where it is if you value your life. You won't kill me. Are you sure about that? You're still your brother. I could find him and make us spill everything. Just out of my hiding spot, my body moving at its own accord, and punched the stranger. Get away from my brother. What's this? I simply moved away and grabbed me by the collar, lifting me in the air. I struggled, but it did nothing. Let me go. It must be Junoru and Roya, right? I can't believe my luck, winning 2 prizes at the same day. Juju, what are you doing here? Stop staring and run away already. Old man, you shouldn't involve my brother like this. Roya grabbed the knife with his bare hands and pulled it from the man's grip. He jumped to kick the man's face to free me. In reflex, the man covered his face and stumbled back. I could see blood dripping from his nose. Let's see. I should have punished you for hurting Juju. I cowered behind my brother, both amazed and afraid of his strength. I'm not going to hold back anymore, you little brats. The man stepped toward us with its arms outstretched. While I held my breath, Roya courageously dashed forward. It took a moment for the stranger to realize that my brother had stabbed him in the stomach 12 times, and the time it took him to smirk. Go to hell. The man collapsed on the ground as Roya pulled the bloody knife out. Is he dead? Yep, there's no doubt about it. That's when you were so strong. And how did you escape if you... Oh, and why didn't you escape if you knew you could handle it? It's a long story. Roya disposed of the body. Let me have a snack. Roya pulled at the sleeve of the corpse and bowed down. Ew, what are you doing? I gotta eat, silly head. But don't tell me that you turned into a zombie as well. You too, huh? Yeah, but why? Heh. Welcome to immortality, little bro. I turned away while Roya gorged himself. After a few minutes, he pulled away and wiped the blood off his lips. Anyway, let's bury the body before anyone catches us. I'll explain everything to you afterward. He effortlessly pulled the corpse along by the arms. It seemed like my brother had turned into an entirely different person. I brought the body to the backyard, where we dug a shallow grave. Once it was covered, we spread some grass and weeds on top to hide the disturbance in the ground. Roya turned to me with a mischievous smile. Let's sit and talk. It feels like it's been forever. Where have you been all this time? I've been worried sick, you know. Hey, that's supposed to be my line. One of Mombi's friends, Yokishi, saved me and took me in. Wow, you're like a turd. As if you're one of the servants. But then she got scared and ran off alone. You know, people are hunting us, right? Anyone who helps us is putting themselves in danger. Surviving on your own is tough, but it's kind of fun, too. You said that you became immortal before, did you not? Oh yeah, it was an accident. Dad gave me 2 bottles and I drank both of them. What did you drink 2? I only drank 1. What's wrong with that? I have a bad feeling about this, but I cannot pinpoint why. Roya pinched my cheek. I whined in annoyance, but felt no actual pain. Hehe, their new bodies are so fun. Being dead is way better than being alive. Even when I'm all sliced up, I can keep on laughing. Now that's not very fun. I'll understand eventually. Oh, by the way, have you seen those posters with their faces on them? Yeah, what about it? Those peasants are still looking for us, and they're asking everyone for help. It's a perfect opportunity to unmask those traitors. I've been using myself as bait to lure them out. Then, whenever I get the chance, I kill them. That is actually your plan. I'm avenging our parents. I'm not going to let those fools get away. I want to go to the police instead. With that huge bounty on our heads, it makes us look like the bad guys. Besides, I could handle this alone. I stared at the ground, the weight of the people who hated us now falling onto my shoulders. Roya, you should come away with Yokishi and me. Sounds good to me. This place gives me the chills anyway. I heard my brother in relief. Overjoyed that we were finally reunited. For a moment, I was able to put all the dark thoughts and worries aside. So, you live in a small dirty house with no food. It's not that bad. Yuki's home is comfortable and the fridge is not empty. I thought you were living in a villa, not this run-down place. What would you want to eat? Baguettes, camembert, chicken casserole. That's not what I mean. You don't understand how these bodies work, do you? We're not wealthy anymore. You should be happy to even have a roof over your head. I'm sure we'll have a nice inheritance waiting for us. Speaking of which, we should look into that later. Nothing but the best for our boys. I lightly hit Roy on the shoulder before crossing my arms. And whatever. We could build our own fortune up, right, Juju? Before I could answer, Yokishi walked through the door with the bag of goodies. Hi, Junoru. I got off work early today. Ah. Is that Roya? How did you run into him? I haven't seen him since that day. I was taking a stroll and ran into him earlier by coincidence. Can you stay here with us? Of course. I looked all over for him myself, but never had any luck. It is an honor to be your guest. A minute ago, you said this house was dirty. Roy covered my mouth before I could finish the sentence and flashed an innocent smile at our host. Your name is Yokishi, right? I assume you know about our identities. That's right. I'm sorry I could not help you more back then. Anyway, let me show you to your room. No, I want to stay with Juju. Her brother clung to me like a panda bear, pouting. We don't need to spend every single second together. We were separated for so long. We need to spend more time together. Sometimes I wonder which one of us is the older one. Shiki brought us to our room and asked if we wanted anything to eat. Right before I came here. Oh, that's too bad. This is very delicious. I stared on as Yoshiki took a bite of cheese bread. I was practically drooling. Are you hungry? I brought something for you too. She tossed a bottle of dark liquid inside, but I put it aside and shook my head with a frown. I told you that I disliked that stuff. I would rather have bread too. Brother patted me on the shoulder and left the room after. Meanwhile, Yokishi stared at me as an awkward silence fell between us. I snatched the bread from her hands and took a bite of it. I reached for my stomach and started coughing frantically. The pain racking my body was even worse than the last time I tried to eat. Shiki ran to me as tears started to well in my eyes. I dropped the bread, barely resisting the urge to hurl. Junoru, what's wrong? Nothing, my stomach just hurts a bit. I'll be fine. She let me go after I forced a smile. The next night, I could not fall asleep again, no matter how hard I tried. I hope turning into a zombie does not mean I have to stay awake forever. I had assumed zombies were immune to pain, but I was wrong. My entire body is burning up. Is it because that bite wound got infected? Just the arm to find the injury was healing properly. I laid on my side while the pain filled my chest, my fingers clutching the blanket as I broke out into a cold sweat. My eyes landed on the bottle Yokishi had given me earlier. Colors were tempting, but I did my best to resist. Suddenly, I heard footsteps in the hallway and stood up out of curiosity. I was strong enough to walk, although I felt weak. When I peeked into the hallway, I found Roya sneaking around in the dark. Where are you going this late? Jeez, you scared me. I'm just going out for the fresh air. Don't let Yokishi know about this, okay? I know you're lying. Tell me the truth. I'm going to take in more traders. If you want to come along, it'll be easier with the two of us. I don't think I could be of much help. You know my words, pulling me along anyway. The streets were frightening in the darkness. It did not help that my parents always warned us not to go outside at night, as the village was dangerous. Roy did not seem to mind in the slightest, however. I tightly clung to his arm. and remained on guard, ready for anything that happened. Relax, bro. Now I'm with you, there's nothing to be scared of. We're only children. We're not adults. We do not have any godly powers. We do have powers, though. We're stronger than the other zombies. How do you know that? A few have tried to attack me over the past week, and they were completely different from us. Their bodies rot, and they could barely think. It was disgusting. He shook his head, shivering at the recollection. A good thing that they're easy to deal with. Let's call them the Soulless. That'd be a fitting name, I guess. I was also attacked by a few who were smarter, too. They aren't as smart as humans, though. Kind of animalistic. They're a bunch of idiots, so let's call them the Brainless. There was one other zombie. He disguised himself as a human and attacked me when we were alone. It was a pain in the butt to deal with. Wow, you've gone through a lot in the past few days. We should call that type the Fakes, since they disguise themselves. That's a perfect name. Say, Roya, where do we belong to? I don't think we fit into any of the Sin Dude categories. We could call ourselves the Masters. No, wait, the Elite. Should we not be fakes as we disguise ourselves as humans? Nope, you're wrong, little Juju. We have something they don't. Roya pushed a nearby pole, causing the metal to bend. We have incredible strength, and our bodies can regenerate if we eat humans. I have that power too. Try it. I swung my fist at the pole to no avail. There was only the pitiful sound of my bones cracking. I broke my hand. I cried when it came to feel pain. But for a short seconds, the scratches on my knuckles began to scab. Whoa, that's something new. Huh? I thought we have different powers. Looks like you have a healing ability. It's not that great if eating will heal me anyway. I thought you were afraid to eat humans. Well, I can still eat normal food. It just hurts a lot. Maybe I should try too. Are you able to withstand it? Shh, I hear someone coming. I think I saw the woman at the house the night we were attacked. Pretend we're lost, okay? You whispered in the affirmative. Patiently waited for the woman to approach us. What are you boys doing out here in the middle of the night? I cannot find Mommy and Daddy. We're lost. Can you please help us, miss? Of course, my dear. Let's go to my house, and we can call your parents. I'll give you some milk and cookies while we wait for them. The woman took us both by the hand and gave us a friendly smile. We entered a small, cozy home, and were led to the living room, Roya and I still putting on an innocent facade. Wait right here. I'm going to get those treats for you. The woman was out of sight. I sighed in relief. Is what you've been doing the entire time? Letting strangers lure you into their homes. Sometimes. Others, I'm kidnapped straight off the street. Brother. Hehe, don't worry about me. I actually think it's pretty fun to give those peasants their desserts. The woman returned with a disappointed expression, while she maintained her aura of friendliness. Sorry, boys, there was no milk or cookies left. We'll provide you something else instead. She slowly walked closer before suddenly grabbing Roya by the arm and injecting him with some sort of needle. Tisk tisk, poison won't work on me. Are you sure about that, Roya Kenriji? Don't tell me what are the researchers. The woman removed her long wig, and Roya's eyes widened in shock. You're the one who saved me at the mansion. Even if the masterminds are dead, I'm glad I still have 2 test subjects to work with. We get out of here. She knows too much about us. Right before Roya could take a step, he collapsed onto the floor. Ooh, the drug finally took effect. Sweet dreams, Roya Kenriji. Roya, what happened? Wake up. Don't waste your breath. I developed this drug especially for you monsters, so I won't wake up anytime soon. The woman walked toward me with a menacing smirk. I tried to pull Roya's body along, but before I could get anywhere, I was caught. I shivered at the sight of the laboratory-like room we were brought to. What are you going to do to us? I'm not going to kill you, if that's what you're worried about. She left Roya on the couch before binding me to an examination table. I might not have gotten my hands on the serum, but having test subjects who have used it is even better. We're only children. Not human ones, so I don't care. I started to wonder what sort of people were interested in the immortality serum, and if they were all sick and twisted as her. Ellen laughed and walked toward me with the scalpel in hand, humming an unfamiliar melody as she rolled up my sleeves. From a greedy gleam in her eyes, I knew she would not hold back. I have to wonder why you look so normal compared to the other piece of rotten meat. I can't wait to find out what the secret ingredient is and how much your body can endure. The scalpel pierced through my arm and dug in wildly. No method to the madness. In a panic, I begged the woman to stop. To my surprise, she obliged, taking a moment to study the wound. My, it healed so fast. I've never seen this before. I thought I could only heal up after eating humans. She resumed stabbing me, she excitement shimmering in her eyes. Despite not feeling any pain, the experience was nonetheless horrible. Stop it already. I'm not like this. You stopped healing. It seems that there's a limit. She put the bloody scalpel away and walked over to grab another tool. I was relieved for a moment to breathe, even though my arm was shredded to pieces. I can't believe I could survive with my body in this state. It is nice to know that I have a special ability, but if there's truly a limit... Oh, fuck! My arms were bloody from struggling to escape by the time the woman returned with an axe. Let's go. I wonder if your limbs will grow back if I detach them. I swung around in a panic, looking for any way out of this. I noticed the keys to the restraints on a nearby table. If only I could reach them. As granting my wish, the keys suddenly moved on their own, floating toward me and then freeing me. As the woman moved in closer to tighten my arm restraints, I kicked the weapon out of her hand. When the axe landed on the ground, it started to move on its own. It began hacking away at her from the feet down. I closed my eyes, shutting out the sight of the bloodbath. When the screams and cries finally faded away, I cautiously peeked through the gaps in my fingers. There was blood all over the floor and walls. After a few seconds, the axe finally stopped moving, returning to a lifeless object. What do I do? Do objects move to my will? Either way, I need to get out of here. I slowly crawled to the table to search for something to bandage my arm. I certainly did not want to walk around in public with it visible. I tried to use my newfound ability to bandage myself, but it did not work out very well. I tried to use it to open the cabinet door. Instead, however, I was simply pulled toward it. I suppose I need more training. I do not think I can manipulate things that are heavier than myself. Alright, Roya. I hurried to my brother and inspected him. Thankfully, he only seemed to be unconscious. I was so worried. With Roya on my back, I headed back to Yokishi's house, praying she did not notice that we had ever left. How will I explain Roya's condition, or my own for that matter? I immediately noticed that the doors and windows had all been damaged, as if there was a break-in. She was not in her bedroom, so I continued looking until I found her at the other end of the house. I called her name as she slowly turned around. However, she had a large, profusely bleeding bite wound. Nearby there was a childlike zombie, who I presumed was the culprit. I laid Roya down on the floor before dashing toward the enemy and knocking them into the ground. Thank you for saving me, Junoru. I tried to lift them off, but I mistook that child for you and let my guard down. I'm sorry that I left you, it was all my fault. Why do you look so sad? You're bleeding very badly. What are you saying? This? Nothing. Yoshiki gently wiped away my tears and smiled. Can I ask for a favor? Of course, anything. Can you put me out of my misery? I believe after being bitten by one, I'll also become one of the mindless zombies that when I do. Or when I die. Fuck. Reading can really help. Please prevent that from happening, Junoru. I'm sorry for putting such a heavy burden on you. No matter what happens, don't cry. Promise me. She took a lighter out of her pocket and pointed it to a nearby bottle. Empty that over my jacket and then light it with this. I nodded, trembling, as I firmly held Yoshiki's hand. She closed her eyes and her body became heavy in my arms. It was her last wish, this the least I could do. My eyes were damp and my hands were trembling. I held the lighter firmly as I draped the coat over the corpse. Smoky scent filled the room, the liquid burst into flames. I fell back in surprise. Hungry. Mondays, the zombie child I had knocked before had stood up and was staring at me with hungry eyes. Before them, I noticed even more zombies creeping through the hallway. Suddenly realized it was no time to warn. I grabbed Roya once more and dashed out of the house, heading toward the mansion since it was the only place I could think of. For the first time I was ever truly alone. There was no one to look after me, and it felt lonely. What should I do now, Roya? Wait till people come to hunt me? Or should I go after them first, like you did? Not as strong as you, though. I laid Roya on one of the beds and curled up next to him. I could not even tell if he was asleep or dead because he never had a pulse. Before I knew it, the sun had risen. It was already daytime. For the next few days, I cleaned up the mansion. I had always disliked messiness. But more than that, I could not stand the reminders of what had taken place here. It took a few weeks for me to get things to a satisfactory level, but Roya still had not woken up. Over the course of tidying up, I found a few dollars that I planned to use to buy food, and was thankful that not all of our clothing had been stolen in the disaster. For an oversized coat I found in my father's room. I snuck into the village to go shopping. When I returned, I found Roya sitting up in bed. I ran over to him with open arms. Isn't that Dad's coat? So glad you're awake. I missed you so much. Was I asleep for that long? It's been a few weeks. That crazy woman drugged you, remember? Ah, right. And I'm so thirsty. Do you have any water? Yeah, take this. Thanks, little bro. Anyway, tell me what happened while I was out. I recounted how I managed to escape and what happened to Yokishi. It's too bad. That lady seemed nice. She was probably one of the only people actually on our side. We should start looking for allies. Can you think of anyone? Yeah, there are none. We should focus on taking down our enemies. Hey, can I have a piece of that cake? I'm starving right now. Or she can handle it. What are you talking about? Tasty. You should know how to pick 'em. I had an eye on Roya as he ate, but there did not seem to be any problems. Once he finished the slice, he reached for another one. Ah! His face abruptly contorted with pain, and he fell backward on the mattress. It hurt so much. It's part of the healing process. I experienced the same thing. Please bear with it. It's like I'm being torn apart from the inside. I need to... I fell off the bed and tried to crawl back up. So I tried to help him. I need to get it out of my stomach. Help me. Frantically peered around, but could not think of anything. In those few seconds, Roya passed out on the floor. Many thoughts crossed my mind, but one that stuck in my memory was Dad's study. I left the room and headed to the library in the basement. I searched through Dad's desk and took any document I could find. I could not understand the contents, but perhaps Roya could. When I returned to find Roya awake, he looked better compared to before. Where'd you go? The study. I wanted to see if there was anything that can help you there, but I only found these research papers. If you're already feeling better, maybe we could read them together. No need, I already figured their research out. I'd like to take his words with him, you know? His work with him, you know? Sometimes I'd help him organize his papers. Roya shared everything he knew. Apparently, the village had been struck by a strange illness. The citizens believed it was because a demon had cursed them all, but our parents had not lost hope. They researched the illness. When they discovered a zombie, they captured it and used its unique chemical composition to manufacture a cure for the village's illness. They had gotten the idea when they heard the zombie had been afflicted by sickness when they were alive. During their research, they accidentally created a serum that could stop the aging process. They thought they were on the right track, so they tried to perfect it, but it went nowhere. They abandoned the project and started over. However, some team wanted to continue the research. Mother and father refused to leave the project, and those people's hands fired them. It was after that incident that rumors about our family began to spread amongst the villagers. Of course, there were still many who supported what they were doing, especially the ill. Roya stopped talking, watching me as I took a bite of my sandwich. I could just stand eating normal food. I thought I was going to die until I threw up that cake. You could tell a little pain, can you not? A little pain in my butt. It made my injuries worse. We drank the same serum. Why are we so different? Maybe it's because you drink 2 bottles instead of 1. I remember that hearing that different doses of medicine could result in different outcomes. Oh, that might be it. Why did you even drink 2 to begin with? It was an emergency. Why did you drink yours? For the same reason. Hypocrite. What are we gonna do now? The villagers will not forget about us anytime soon. We'll kill off anyone who betrayed us. Can we not end this peacefully by telling them the truth? Roya let out a heavy sigh as he rubbed his face exasperatedly. What the fuck is that? Exasperatedly. How could you be so naive after everything we've experienced? There should be another way. No, there isn't. If you aren't going to help me, I'll do it alone. I'll stop you. Are you kidding? You aren't even half as strong as I am. I focused my attention on the pillow behind Roya. I started to move it like I wanted it to. It collided with Roya's back. He yelped and jumped up. The heck? You can telekinesis against me, huh? I'll get you back for this. Right when Roya reached out toward me. Before I knew what was happening, I flew up to the ceiling and was left staring at my brother. I didn't even touch you, so what can you fly? I'm not. This is... I began falling, but Roya caught me before I hit the ground. With one arm, he helped me stand upright. Tears gathered in my eyes like I gasped for air. You could stick yourself to stuff, huh? What a dumb power. It'll be very useful when I have more control over it. Which reminds me, you should get used to your new body. No, you don't feel pain. You should still be aware of your surroundings. If you aren't, you'll get stabbed and never even notice it. I will take care of myself. A decade passed by. For those that don't know, a decade is 10 years. Somehow, we were able to hide away signs of our presence within mansion and our identities. Around that time, our wanted posters disappeared from the streets. Rumors of the cursed Kenriji family began spreading. I took a sip of my tea while I browsed the newspaper. A report of local kidnapping caught my eye. Did you? I'm wearing Mom's earring. Yeah, I found it while I was cleaning her room earlier. It actually suits you. Heh. Thinking back kindly is rather frightening. I'm just in a good mood. Can't I be happy once in a while? Tell me what you're up to. Roya stole the newspaper from my hands and pointed at the article I was just been looking at. I instantly frowned. I think this guy used to be the leader of Dad's research team. Meaning this guy should have a list of all the other team members' names. Roya, it's been a decade. We should forgive. Look at how these people turned out. This one became a kidnapper. And then there's the woman who drugged me, and... Here are the newspaper back from Roya. We'll just the next page. Tired of revenge. We've already dealt with the worst people. I'm much more worried about the fact that the zombies have multiplied because of their experiments. Brother lowered his head, his hands trembling. But suddenly he grabbed me by the collar. Did you forget about what they did to us? They betrayed our parents, killed them, and tried to do the same to us. Don't tell me you've forgiven them. I suddenly met Aurora's gaze. I know how I felt. The fire within him had only grown stronger since that day. I placed my hand on top of his. He let me go. I'm sorry. I know this isn't your fault. It's just... I'm in this for your sake too. As long as these people are around, we aren't safe. Roya ruffled his hair in frustration before heading down the hall, leaving me alone once more. I took a sip of my tea, but it tasted salty. I brushed my cheek and felt dampness of a teardrop. I had not even realized I was crying. It just began to ache. Even though I can't feel physical pain, it still hurts. My brother had not been at the scene where mother and father were killed. He did not know how they died, and I knew telling him would only further fuel his anger. Jace, I hope you told me the truth. I pray mother is resting peacefully in heaven. Father, I wonder how you're doing. I've heard awful stories about hell. Even if you cannot be together in death, I hope you can find peace in knowing your graves are together. I miss you so much. I closed my eyes and fall into a dreamless slumber. Bro, wake up. What the fuck? Roya shook my body, covered my eyes, only half realizing it was nighttime. Roya wore an expression of panic. The last time I saw him like this was years ago. My eyes shut down, noticing the blood spilling out of several fresh gunshot wounds on him. We should hide in the basement. They're hunters, and they're trained to kill the living dead. You might even know about this. A nearby flower pot was shattered into pieces. I thought an abandoned place like this would be a perfect hiding spot. Hehe, we finally found you. Could have sworn I got you in the joints earlier, though. Is the other one living dead, too? Be careful, she's strong. I was caught off guard when something pierced in my leg. As a nun, I realized that I had been shot. My bad habit of talking too much. Hehe. So guess one, huh? I only know the blonde one's powers. But I'm rather glad the other one seems weak. I pushed me aside with the crackling of another gunshot, taking the bullet in the shoulder. Rather than being afraid of the woman, I was too afraid to lose my brother. We could run, but that would certainly be useless against an experienced hunter. Not to mention that she could still attack us from a long distance. Either way, Roy appeared to be too wounded to do anything. It was my duty to protect him. I also turned my thoughts from the furniture and hurled them at the woman with my telekinesis. This momentary shock to create an opening. I dashed closer to her and grabbed the gun right out of her hand. Get away from her. It was too late for me to react. The woman smirked as she stared me in the eye. You are pretty rare, so far as living dead go. I wish I could take you both back in one piece, but you've given me no other choice. I'm trying to be gentle with you, so don't give me any more trouble. Sweet dreams. I felt the woman's gaze and find a dart stabbed in my chest. I stepped back and pulled it out. I was ready for my body burning as it fought against whatever drug I had been injected with. I turned around, I saw that Roya had already passed out. I figured he must have been drugged earlier. As I pulled another gun out of the holster, I sent an inanimate object from the room flying in a random direction. I holstered Roya on my back and rushed toward the basement, carefully continuing my attack while I fled. My body was already slowing down as I was gradually falling asleep. I blindly pushed my finger against the wall until I heard something click open. When I stepped past the entranceway, I heard footsteps coming down the hallway. I swiftly shut the door behind us and locked it. I did not be able to get in here. I was so tired. Junoru closed the photo album and leans back against the couch. What happened after that? Well, I woke up and realized a century had passed. Roya awoken a few years after that. Oh my goodness, were you okay? Of course. After all, I'm here before you. I can't imagine how it feels to sleep for so long. Thank you for telling me about your past. Junoru nervously rubs his face. With that, I think I'm going to go ahead and end this episode here. This is a good pausing point. So thank you very much for watching, and hopefully, I'll see you later.